Hey everybody, so I wanted this to be a full game review. I was going to play through the whole thing, but I've been having so many goddamn problems. First, I lost a shit ton of footage, had to re-record everything 2 to 3 times, and then my laptop, all of a sudden, earlier tonight, I was marathoning a whole bunch of Resident Evil 7, and on the last one, on like a half hour of recording after doing 2-3 previous parts, it suddenly turns on the webcam for my laptop, and I didn't notice it until after it was already recording. So, and I've already had the game spoiled for me by various Let's Players that I've been watching, my own choice, but I think I've played enough of the game, so don't call this a full review, call it a vlog review, and I'll include little bits of game footage in there in order to emphasize my point. Resident Evil 7. Do I like it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I do. I played the demo, got really excited, had my doubts. Mostly because, of course, as everybody has pointed out in the demo, they weren't showing any combat. So I was very much afraid, oh, is this going to be Outlast and current horror style where you're unable to defend yourself or attack your attackers, you're always having to run away and hide? Well, there is a run away and hide element. And stealth in there as well, a little bit, but not primarily, thank God. This is still Resident Evil. But a half hour into the game, you're given a hatchet, you're given a gun, eventually you get a shotgun. But just because you're heavily armed does not mean you're invincible. I had quite a few critics, well, a couple, and then one of the Honest trailers when they did their game coverage for Resident Evil 7, talking about how the game starts off as being, you know, very tense and very scary until you get a shotgun and you can instantly kill people. Well, during a lot of my very early playthroughs of it, even when I got the shotgun, it was still very hard for me to it was still very difficult for me to land headshots, even with the pistol. Now, I've gotten lucky a couple of times now, but I remember, like, point-blank skirmishes, aiming for the head, and didn't kill them. They still kept coming at me, and I died several frickin' times. So, maybe that's just on me. I'm playing on the console, not on the PC. More of a console gamer anyway. So, one thing I forgot to mention. So, a couple of factors about this that are a tad disappointing is the whole in-game interactivity that Resident Evil 7 has in here. It's only in the beginning of the game. But at first, while I was astonished by them, I very soon found out that they were kind of bullshit. They are not really interactive. They're meant to be, but they're not. For example, when you're first attacked by Mia and the game is telling you to defend yourself and all that, during my third playthrough of it, I actually didn't press anything the whole time that she was stabbing at me, and same thing happened. So, and then, especially during the scene when she comes back and threatens to chop off your hand with the chainsaw, I had actually wondered, and I know a lot of other people have already pointed this out too, tried, you know, seeing if they could free their hand quickly from the screwdriver in order to prevent that whole scene from happening. But no, that's a scripted event, so it's meant to happen. And I know why they did it. It's meant to make you feel like that you are in the moment and that maybe you could have, but really you couldn't. So it's just kind of a whole thing of, why give me this option then if that's not really available? But so I mean, that's a bit of a minus point right there for that, but I can forgive it for the rest of the game. Resident Evil 7 really met my expectations. I mean, it really did. You know, not in a disappointing way, but certainly in a very high, gratifying way. I like a lot of what they borrowed, you know, from Outlast, a little bit of Silent Hill in there. Specifically PT, with the fact that it's first person, all Outlast and such. This time, though, you know, you're not, you know, holding a video camera because you know, the whole POV thing needs to be explained. So you're holding a video camera. That's why, like, doesn't really need an excuse. This is we're in the situation with you. So and that just makes it far more terrifying. And yeah, when I was first playing this, and even still, like, knowing everything that was coming, this game was still able to bring out a lot of surprises and kept me in the moment and still kept me very scared. Very later on, though, in the game, I was getting very annoyed by the whole flashlight thing when you are in those very dark hallways and your character pulls out a flashlight. It's still so damn dim that I can't see very well, so I just went into the game and just upped the brightness to max so I could see. It does take, I want to say, a little bit of the fear out of it, because now other rooms that already had lighting to them are now very lit. But I don't know, I mean, I like to be able to see what the hell I'm doing. So I haven't made it to the end. I made it to Lucas's puzzle, where you get, you know, one of the videotapes and you watch the whole birthday puzzle. And I've also played the 2 pieces, or I should say Banned Footage 1 DLC, which I was actually wondering, like, were these meant to be a part of the game and now they just ripped them out and sold them to you? No, actually, because I noticed that the Gaming Brit actually talked about this too, and he was a tad pissed off, and I would have been too until I played them and found out that no, these are actually a separate story. You're playing as Clancy, the camera guy from the demo, and you're playing these little mini sections. One is a survival, kind of like Mercenaries, where you're locked in the basement and you have to survive for 4 hours, basically 4 different onslaughts against enemies. And as good as you do, you are awarded points, which you can then use in order to buy different guns, buy different ammo, healing items, and you can also buy basically different scrap, because there's also a whole bunch of traps down there that you can repair and set up in order to help take out the other enemies. I only made it to the second wave, where basically that's when Daddy shows up and you have to try and fight off him, or Jack, really, I should say. The other one was it's called Nightmare, I believe, where again you're Clancy and you're in, I think, Mom's bedroom, and she's locked you in there, and basically she will come in periodically. Of course, the game will tell you, and it's basically a giant puzzle, which I really liked, because at one point during the entire game I was kind of complaining about how a lot of the puzzles aren't really puzzles. Some are, you know, with the shadow puzzles and a couple of things like that, but not overall. This one really is a puzzle where you really, I mean, I really did have to rack my brain in order to try and figure out how to solve all of the puzzles in this room. You have a 3 painting puzzle that works in like 2 to 3 different ways. There's a lock on a door, and then there's a trap door that's your way out underneath the bed. And the thing is that every time you unlock something new, it makes a loud noise that will get Marguerite's attention, and she'll come back into the room. And what's really great about this, and especially challenging, is that you have to make sure that everything in the room is as it was. That includes paintings, you know, being back where they were, and that certain drawers aren't open, and that your ass is back in bed, and that your hand is locked. Because if it isn't, she will hurt you. I mean, she won't right away kill you. You're given about 3 hits before you'll die. And that's really all there is to it. Well, like I said, I didn't get through the basement survival game, but the bedroom took me maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more in order to get through. I actually had to look online to find out how you solve the very last puzzle that gives you the key to the latch underneath the bed. But yeah, I mean, I really like that, and the whole survival thing, I do plan on playing that a hell of a lot more. So, and I mean, it's not a part of the story at all. And so overall, the game overall, I really like and I really enjoy. And I mean, I never played 6. I had zero interest in 6. I played 5 and really didn't enjoy it all that much. Of course, I played 4 and I loved 4 when it first came out. I loved it so much I bought it multiple frickin' times. And this is a really great throwback. This is exactly what Resident Evil needed. It needed to go back to its roots. And I'm glad they did this. I've seen a little bit of what they've done with 4. I don't know if that's going to be overall how the game is going to be. I heard from a friend that supposedly you'll be given the option to switch between third and first person. I don't know how true that is or how it'll be. 2 was the very first game in the Resident Evil series that I ever played, because I had an N64. I didn't get a PlayStation until like years later. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Resident Evil 7. Frickin' awesome. Thank you, Capcom. You actually did something right for once, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the DLC. I imagine that a lot of it will probably just be, you know, additional content, like, oh, like, see what happened to this character that wasn't a part of the main story, or anything like that. Or maybe some extra little different campaigns, or stuff like that, which would be cool. Well, anyway, everybody, hope that you've enjoyed. Please click the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. I would really appreciate it. Check out my channel for more. I did a couple of Let's Plays on Resident Evil 7. I wanted to do more, but so much went wrong with the original capture. But hopefully I can do it a lot better next time. This is the first time in a long time that I spent $60 on a brand new game, and I'm not disappointed by it, and I'm glad I did. So, yeah, there you go. See you guys.